welcome to our lesson today. It's a continuation of last week's lesson, subject-verb agreement. And then last week while I was teaching, I said a verb has to agree with a subject, which is a noun in a sentence, for the sentence to be sensible. I said a subject is a noun or what is being talked about in a sentence. We can also say a subject is a doer of an action in a sentence. So I said a singular noun takes a singular verb and a plural noun takes a plural verb, unless in some considerable situations. So today it's a continuation of the lesson. Some nouns appear plural. Some nouns appear plural but are singular in meaning. Some nouns appear plural but are singular in meaning. Example: news, politics, gymnastics, measles, physics, mathematics. So they appear plural but are singular in meaning. So they take a singular helping verb. Example, in a sentence we are going to say, the news we had today, the news we had today, the news we had today was saddening. The news we had today was saddening. I'm using was, although you can see they appear plural because at the end we have an S. Some nouns form their plural by adding an S at the end. So we have news, politics, gymnastics, measles, physics. I said these nouns appear plural but are singular in meaning. Thus take a singular verb. The news we had today was saddening. Politics is not a game for the faint heart. Gymnastics is taught in school. Measles has killed a lot of children. Physics is a good subject, In my sentences, I'm using is, I'm using has, I'm using was. Singular helping verbs. Although the words appear to be plural, but they have a singular meaning. So most of the pupils make mistakes when it comes to news. When it comes to measles, they think it is plural or they think news is plural. No. It appears plural, but it has a singular meaning, thus takes a singular verb. The news we had was saddening. Physics is not a hard subject. Mathematics is another common noun where which appears in plural but is singular in meaning. Mathematics is taught in school. You don't say mathematics are taught in school. You don't say physics are taught in school. You're going to say physics is taught in school, mathematics is taught in school. The news we had was not good. Politics is not a game for the faint heart. You can say gymnastics should be introduced in gymnastics is a good subject, should be introduced in school. Why? Because these nouns appear plural but have a singular meaning. Thus, in a sentence, they should take a singular helping verb. Use of and. Our next topic is use of and. When I was talking about conjunctions, I said and is a conjunction of addition. That gives us extra information about a subject or a noun in a sentence. When two or more subjects have been joined by and, they take a plural verb. Example: when two or more subjects have been joined by and, they take a plural verb. This is it. Amina, example, you can say Amina and Aisha are good girls. Amina and Aisha are good girls. I used are, which is a plural verb. Amina and Aisha, they are joined by Amina and Aisha, two, making them two. They are joined by and, that takes a plural verb. Amina and Aisha are good girls. You can say health and happiness. Health and happiness. Health and happiness are priceless. Health and happiness are priceless. I'm using are, which is also a plural verb. Health and happiness, I've joined two singular subjects. Two singular subjects joined by and take a plural helping verb. But I want you to pay attention to this. When two singular subjects can also be joined by and, but to mean one. Example, two or more singular subjects can be joined by and, but to mean one. Said one use of and. And can be used when two or more singular subjects are joined by and. It takes a plural helping verb. But there is an exception to this. When two singular subjects or more singular subjects have been joined by and, to mean one, they take a singular helping verb. Example in a sentence. You can say bread and butter. Bread and butter. Now, bread and butter. You don't say are eaten for breakfast. You are going to say is eaten for breakfast. Bread and butter is eaten for breakfast. Why did I say is? Because these two singular subjects have been joined but to mean one. Like it is a meal. You eat, you don't put butter in the mouth and then you put bread in the mouth. Like they are single entities. No. They are joined by and to mean one. Or I'm going to say rice and beans. You can say rice and beans is a good meal. Is a good meal. Rice and beans is a good meal. Is a good meal. Two singular subjects joined by and to mean one. They take a singular helping verb, especially when it comes to meals. But two singular subjects or two or more singular subjects can be joined by and they take a plural helping verb. Why? Because each entity in that sentence stands for its own. Amina and Asha are good pupils, good girls. Why? Amina is a single entity and Aisha is a single entity. Like you can't join them to make one person. So we say Amina and Aisha are good girls. Single entities in a sentence. Health and happiness are priceless. I don't think anybody can buy health, or anybody can buy happiness. Health is different from happiness. Single entities in a sentence joined by and to take a plural helping verb. If I say single entities, I don't know if you understand. It means this thing stands for on its own. Like you can't join Amina and Asha to make one. No. But when you can join two things using and to mean one, then they take a singular helping verb. Bread and butter is eaten for breakfast. Why? I'm having bread and I'm having butter. To eat bread with bread and butter, you apply butter on bread. So it becomes a single entity. Although there are two singular subjects joined by and, but they have a singular meaning. Rice and beans is a good meal. Yes, rice and beans. We eat rice and beans as a meal. So rice and beans are eaten as one. It makes it a singular, not single entities. But for them to coexist, they must be together. So it takes a singular helping verb. You pay attention when it comes to subject-verb agreement and the use of and. Use of and. When two singular subjects are joined by and, they take a plural helping verb. In the case of the singular subjects are as a single entity. They exist on their own. But when two singular subjects have been joined by and to mean one, then they take a singular helping verb. It is not the case of or or including together with, where the first subject, the including together with it's what changes the first, you base on the first subject that has been mentioned to come up with the correct what? To come up with the correct helping verb. Here when you use and, it depends with what you are talking about. Are they single entities or are they two single entities that must coexist as one? And if they have to exist as one, then they take a singular helping verb, But if they exist as single entities, then they take a plural helping verb, So our next one is some nouns. Some nouns, e.g., some nouns appear singular, some nouns appear singular, but are plural in meaning, So they take a plural helping verb unless preceded by a pair of. So we say some nouns appear singular but are plural in meaning unless preceded by a pair of. Example, I'm going to say, example, we have pliers, we have trousers, we have shorts, we can have glasses. The common one is spectacles. You can say glasses or spectacles. We can also have scissors. These are common ones. Now, how do you have that in a sentence? You are going to say, my trousers, example, you are going to say, my trousers are torn. My trousers are torn. Plural, helping verb. They appear plural. Some nouns appear singular but are plural in meaning, unless preceded by a pair of. Now, my trousers are torn. Trousers. It appears singular because it is just one, but it is plural in meaning. My trousers are torn. You can say the pair of scissors. You can say the scissors. The scissors are lost. The scissors are lost. I'm having scissors. I know, you know scissors. Appear one, but plural in meaning. My trousers are torn. You can say, my shorts have a dark spot. My shorts have a dark spot. I'm saying have. They appear singular but plural in meaning. Unless preceded by a pair of. This is what I mean. If it is preceded by a pair of, then the verb is singular. But if there is no a pair of, then the verb is plural. You are going to say, example, my pair of trousers is lost. My pair of trousers is lost. Why? My trousers are torn. But here I said my pair of trousers is lost. Why? Because we have used a pair of. We've preceded the noun trouser with a pair of, making it singular, thus taking a singular verb. But if there is no pair of in the sentence, then your verb should be plural. My trousers are torn. The scissors are lost. My shorts have a dark spot. But if I begin these sentences with a pair of, then I make the sentence singular. Thus it takes a singular verb. My trousers are torn. but I'm going to say my pair of trousers is torn. If this sentence has my pair of trousers is lost. I'm going to say my pair of scissors is lost. My pair of shorts has a dark spot. This is what I'm going to say. You're going to say my pair of trousers is torn. You have that. But you are going to say my trousers are torn. Are and is. If the noun in the sentence has been preceded with my pair of, then it takes a singular helping verb. But if the noun in the sentence is not, there is not my pair of in the sentence, then it takes a singular helping verb, a plural helping verb. My shoes are black. My shoes are black. But I'm going to say my pair of shoes is black. My pair of shoes is black. My shoes are black. My pair of shoes is black. If it has been preceded by a pair of, I don't know what to say. If shoes is in the same sentence as a pair of, then it takes a singular helping verb, But if there is no pair of in the sentence, then it takes a plural helping verb. My shoes are black, no pair of. But if I say my pair of shoes, if my pair of is in that sentence, then it takes a singular helping verb, Some nouns appear singular but are plural in meaning. Trousers, pliers, glasses, scissors, shoes, shorts. But they take up a singular verb if they have been preceded with what? A pair of. My pair of trousers is torn. But I'm going to say my trousers are torn. My pair of trousers is torn. You're going to say my shoes are black. But I'm going to say my pair of shoes is black. If they have a pair of, then they can take a singular helping verb. But if they don't have a pair of in the same sentence, then they take a plural helping verb, Now, when it comes to subject-verb agreement, the problem is when they use pronouns in the sentence. Now, example is this. Problem is when they use pronouns in the sentence. Pronouns, personal pronouns. Example is, we have he, she, it. He, she, and it are singular, so they are going to take is, was, does. Is, was, does, and has. How am I going to use this in a sentence? Most people cannot come up with the correct helping verb, especially if the sentence has used pronouns instead of the nouns. We know all pronouns are words used instead of nouns. And I said a noun in a sentence is a subject, the doer of the action, and the action is the verb. Now, we have this. He, she, it are, if you see a sentence with he, she, and it takes is with the present tense, or was, or a plural verb, which means it has an s, and has, is, was, does. We call that as a plural verb, and has. If you have he, she, or it. He, she, or it. Is, was, does, or has. If you have I in a sentence, it is going to take am, was, have, was, have, and then do. Was, have, and do. This is what I mean. He does his work well. He does his work well. Plural verb, plural verb. If we say it's a plural verb, it has an S. This is the simple present tense. So if the simple present tense for general truth or actions that are habitual, now a singular verb takes a singular noun takes a plural verb, but a plural nouns take a singular verb. If we say a singular noun takes a plural verb, we mean the verb has an S. The verb is going to have an S. He does his work well. Now, or we can say she sings well in church. She sings well in church. Singular nouns take plural verbs, but plural nouns take singular verbs. He, she, it are singular nouns, are singular pronouns. So they are going to take is, was, a plural verb, and has. If I say a plural verb, it has an S. Then you have I, which is singular, takes am, takes was, takes have, and takes do, which is a plural verb. Which is a plural verb. That is which is a singular verb. That is a plural verb. And then we have we have you, and then we have they. They are all personal pronouns. They are going to take are. You have are, you have were, you have, and then you have do, which is also a singular verb. Are, were, have, and do. Now, look at my sentences, examples in a sentence. He, she, and it. Remember, you can replace she with a male. Example, I can say Abdi. And then I can replace she with Amina. And then I can replace it with a cow. They are going to take is, was, does, and has. And I'm insisting on this because when it comes to pronouns, pupils cannot give the correct verb for the pronoun. Is, was, does, and have. Now, simple present tense for habitual truth, for general truth or habitual actions, singular nouns take plural verbs. And then plural nouns take singular verbs. Plural, we are having we and they and you. They take are, were, have, and do. Now, singular, he, she, and it, they take plural verbs. This is what I mean. You are going to say, he sings in church. He sings in church. Plural verb. I can replace he with Abdi and say, or I can replace he with James and say, James sings in church. James sings in church. So James has been replaced. James has been replaced with he. James is a noun and he is a pronoun. Singular subjects in a sentence take plural verbs. And if I say a plural verb, it has an S on it. Habitual actions. So James sings in church. Or you can say he sings in church. Present simple tense for general truth or habitual actions. And then when it comes to plural, we are going to say they sing in church. We are going to say they sing in church. Plural, now plural pronouns, or instead of they, I can say pupils, which is a plural noun. Pupils sing in church. If it is a plural a pronoun, it takes a singular verb. But if there are singular verbs, the singular nouns, they take plural verbs. And if I say a verb is plural, it has an S on it. So if you have this in a sentence, this also applies to when it comes to subject-verb agreement, where the subject in a sentence takes a singular helping verb. If the sentence in a sentence takes a singular verb, then it takes also a plural verb. Example, in a sentence, we can say, I say, when two sentences have been separated by or with, it modifies the first subject mentioned. Thus, if the first subject mentioned is singular, it takes a singular helping verb. And if the first subject mentioned is plural, it takes a plural verb. Now look at my sentence here. Neither the teacher nor the pupil, the second subject mentioned is singular, so it takes a singular helping verb. Which means instead of a helping verb, we can have a plural verb. You can say neither the teacher nor the pupil sings on parade. Neither the teacher nor the pupil sings on parade. Now, how about if we use with? You say the teacher together with the pupils, the teacher together with the pupils. I'm having pupils as the second subject mentioned, and the first subject mentioned is teacher. If two subjects have been separated by together with, then you give the verb depending on the first subject mentioned. It modifies the first subject mentioned. The teacher together with the pupils, the teacher, you say the teacher together with the pupils, eats lunch at 12 p.m. The teacher together with the pupils eats the first subject mentioned. Now what if my first subject mentioned is plural? The teachers together with the pupil, you say, eat lunch at 12 p.m. Why? The first subject mentioned is plural. They have been separated with together with, which modifies the first subject mentioned. If the first subject mentioned is plural, it takes a plural verb. If the first subject mentioned is singular, it takes a singular verb. So you go through the notes. You have to go through you watch the YouTube video for the last lesson. You also watch this lesson, and then you make some summary notes. If you don't understand anything, you ask. I'll be posting the exercise in the WhatsApp group. Have a good day.